Alright, here's a notorious 3800 Series 3 engine. I just want to give some pointers on doing a couple jobs here. You know, most people say these are bulletproof engines, which I guess they are. You know, they could go 200,000 or 300,000 miles with no problem if you take care of everything else. You know, there's a lot of stuff that does break down on these engines, you know, that you have to fix and repair, and some of it's just a pain in the ass to get to, and then some of it's really easy to get to. So, you know, like your coils, your plugs, or not your plugs, your cables and alternator, your water pump, your belt, your torque strut right there. That's like your engine mount, but it's called a torque strut. You know, a lot of this is kind of easy to do. You know, your purge valve is over here. There's your purge valve down there. You know, there's just different things on this engine that will go eventually that you have to get replaced. And I do make other videos on this engine and on this 2008 Buick Lucerne, and it is a mega money pit. So they're great cars when they're running 100%. They're comfortable. They got enough speed. You don't want to get the 8-cylinder. The 8-cylinder is a North Star engine, eight cylinder, and it might be fast, but it's a piece of shit engine. I mean, if you take care of it, but you have to be on it, you might get a couple 100,000 miles out of it. You know, but it's got the aluminum heads and everything, and a lot of times there's North Stars, the heads warp, and you have problems. But it also depends on how you drive it. You know, it's like any engine. You drive it nice, you don't beat the shit out of it, you take care of it every month or whatever, put some money into it, you'll last a couple 100,000 miles easy. All right, so now let me get the flashlight here. Down here I have a mirror down there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me try to put this flashlight somewhere. Let's see. There we go. All right. We're in the back of the engine here of the 3800 Series 3. Here's your alternator. You got your belt down here. You got some radiator elbows in here that always leak if you don't change them. But let's go on. Let me see if I go. There we go. Turn the light on in here, you know. There's one of your elbows right there. That's plastic. And then the other elbow's down there. Right there. And I had these replaced 3 or 4 times already. But even the aluminum ones that everybody kept saying to put them in, but it's the O-rings. The O-rings are too thin. So if you go to the dealership, buy the plastic ones, and they have larger O-rings. And I got 100,000 miles out of these, so before I had to replace a few of them, I had somebody do it. So you get what you pay for. You get the cheap Chinese shit. Go to AutoZone, but you're going to pay double at, you know, to get the OEM at the dealership, and they've lasted over a year now. So, all right, down here is your speed sensor, your transmission speed sensor. See that little wire, that orange clip? Well, right there is the speed sensor, right underneath it. Now, I don't know if you could see it. I don't think you can. Let me try to get closer. There's a bolt stem sticking up with a nut on it right behind that orange strap, that plastic strap. And if you look at that nut with the bolt extension, that is your connector that connects your transmission speed sensor, okay? It's a pain in the ass if you take this tire off, which most people do, and then you got to reach all the way back to here with your hand and kind of feel it. It's a pain in the ass. The easiest way, and literally, I did this a few years ago when I was feeling better. Now I feel like crap with what I have. Today I'm not doing too bad, but what you do is you feel it down here. You take your hand, well, you put a glove on because you're gonna get grease on your hand and shit, you know. And you get one of these, All right, Super Grip socket set. All right, it's a 10mm socket or a 10mm wrench, whatever it is. That's the nut with the bolt extensions, you know, the nut over there to take that speed sensor off. Get yourself a little 1/4-inch ratchet, okay, with an extension, just that big, that's all you need. And you put this socket on there, which again are these. And what I like these is because in case it's stripped a little bit, or if you think you're going to strip it, these will sure grip it. So, and if you kind of strip the nut itself a little bit on the edges, this thing will take care of it and it'll just pop it right off. So I'm telling you, get a set of these. I think they're like 15 bucks. You can even get some larger ones in case you need to do other nuts and bolts. But these things are terrific. You know, any rusted ones or ones that are boogered up a little bit, they come right off. So you take this, get your little rubber glove on, like I said. You don't get your hands all greasy and shit. And you could actually go down there. It's not hard. And feel it. Feel the tip of that bolt. Put your socket on there. I think I had 3 years ago I did this, like I said. Maybe a little longer than that. And then just put it on and then twist it off. It'll come right off, the nut. So the nut stays on the bolt extension. So you'll have a little nut, and then you have a little bolt extension about yay big. You just unscrew it by hand and then pop it out. And then you disconnect the wire that's on your speed sensor, which is very easy. And you lift this little flap on the wire up. I wish I could show you better. And you just pull it out. It just pops right out. And it's all by feeling. I mean, it's really easy. This took me no more than 4 minutes, 5 minutes, I remember, to get this thing off, to get the old one off, to put the new one on and tighten it up. It was done in 5 minutes. I'm telling you. It was real super easy. But you got to get this. Okay? Get one of these little 1/4-inch ratchets and a little extension and this grip socket. So when you put the new one on, just make sure you put it back how it comes out. I mean, you could see other videos that are already doing it. There's a guy that's doing it that actually takes off the wheel or the tire, and he's straining himself for, you know, doing a lot of work, putting his hands all the way back when he has this tire off, and he's just killing himself. I'm telling you, it is so easy. Even me feeling like shit all the time, most of the time, I could probably do this as long as I take my pills, you know, so my blood pressure doesn't go up. But anyhow, and like I said, you could get it. Now, you can also get all these spark plugs the same way. You take the plug wire off. Sometimes it's a bitch, but you got to work it off. You get your socket and just get a 1/4-inch one with your regular socket, extended socket, you know, deep socket, and then take your plugs off and be very careful and don't over tighten them. And the last one, you can also reach all underneath here, all the way over. Might scratch your arm up a little bit and get that last plug off. But I highly recommend taking the oxygen sensor off, which is this wire right there. Right there. Take that oxygen sensor wire off, and then take the oxygen sensor part off first before you change that last spark plug, because it's almost right there touching the plug, the oxygen sensor itself. And it's not that hard. You do that from here when you take your oxygen sensor off. And make sure you get the right socket, you know, to do that, because it has an opening on the side, so you don't bugger the wire up or twist it or whatever. All right, so hope that helps you. Like I said, it literally took me 4 or 5 minutes a few years ago or so to change that VSS sensor, transmission speed sensor. And sometimes they get gooped up with metal shavings, but it's like a dust, and it's like a little gray ring around it. And then you can either clean that if you want. Make sure it's thoroughly clean. Just wipe it really good, and then put it back in the old one if it's not busted or anything, or if it's not giving you a code. or just go out and buy a new one for 40 to 60 bucks. And make sure you get an OEM one. Don't get some cheap Chinese shit that's $12 on eBay, because you don't want to do this twice or 3 times. Just spend a little extra money if you can and get the little better one. You know, Dorman is a good, I think Dorman is pretty decent. It's still made in China or India or whatever. But I think it's a little better than those cheap $12, $13, $15 ones. Because I think a Dorman's like $35 or something. OEM's I think 50 or 60. So, all right, easy job. Not hard at all. You don't even need the mirror. So you take the mirror out when you're doing a job, and you just reach down in there like this. And see, my hand's right on the bolt right now. And it's real easy. I could just take that off if I put this down there. All right. There you go. Hope that helps. All right. See ya.